Hello, it's October 29th, 2025, and I'm Curtis Morrison with Ready Go Law. Welcome to Let's Talk Immigration. Let me get some stuff set up here. Okay, a few things to talk about today. First, we'll do a little news. Looks like USCIS is going to mandate electronic payments for applications. At Ready Go Law, we submit every application we can electronically. We are a big fan of that because you get access to the receipt notice and proof that you submitted the application or petition earlier, and that has enormous value. But it looks like they're going to go to electronic payments, period. No more checks. Okay, let's see here. Also, the Department of Homeland Security has ended automatic extension of employment authorization. That means if you're eligible for employment authorization, like you have an EID card, before you could be a little bit flexible on when you renewed that. Now you need to renew that the very day that you're eligible to renew it. I think it's 180 days before it expires. Because if you don't, that thing's going to expire and you're not going to be eligible to work. You won't be able to go to work because if you do, you'll be working unlawfully and that's going to cause you future immigration problems and maybe put you in removal. So extremely important to keep up with the updates. This is one of those updates. If you need to consult with us about how to handle the impact of a immigration update or policy, we don't charge for consults. Just go to our website. Let's see what else is going on here. Ready Go Law. That's our law firm. We are offering a new group lawsuit, and I have a feeling it's not there. Yep, there it is. Here it is. My feeling was wrong. H-1B transfer extension group lawsuit. So we are aware that there are some H-1B visa applicants. Some of you may not be visa applicants yet. I should say people with approved H-1B petitions who ended up getting a different employer and now they need to do a transfer and extension and they're outside the U.S. And they have discovered that the September 19th, 2025 proclamation, often called the H-1B PP, the $100,000 requirement, stops the employer from moving forward. So we are doing a group lawsuit on behalf of beneficiaries that are injured in that situation. The deadline to participate is November 7th, 2025, which it looks like is 9 days away. And we will be filing that lawsuit on November 14th, 2025. More information about this lawsuit, obviously, is on our website. Okay. I know there's always diversity visa selectees that are watching this show saying, oh, what's up with the diversity visa lottery? Okay. Diversity visa lottery 2027. The entry period has not yet been announced. I know like influencer Britt Simon is optimistic that it will be soon. I am not optimistic. I don't think it'll be until summer. Hopefully it'll be sooner than that. But under the law, under the regulation, they have to do a 30-day registration period sometime within the fiscal year prior to the fiscal year for the DV program. So they could do it in September if they wanted. Hope not. That'd be a mess. But DV 2027 entry period has not been announced. A lot of people ask me why. I think there are three reasons. One is, the most important reason is they made a $1 requirement without really doing the legwork on just how logistically impossible that is to collect $1 from people that are in countries where they're using VPNs. You can't just go anywhere in the US, anywhere in the world and just go to the line and pay $1. That's I think we take that for granted in the West. So they haven't figured out the logistics on that. That's probably part of it. Part of it's they have to implement this passport rule where you need a passport for the entry, and that takes some software work. And related to both of those things, they want to sabotage the program any way they can, and both of those things help sabotage the program. But then also, big picture here, the U.S. government has a government shutdown right now, a partial government shutdown that's caused by a lapse in appropriations. Congress has not passed a budget to give money to the federal government to run. Part of that's really because of the Republicans. Republicans control all the government right now. So the reason we do not have a functioning government right now that's open, that's doing work, including at the State Department and USCIS. They have furloughed employees too, people that have been sent home. It's because of the Republicans. I do not mind saying that. Okay, what else is going on? Everybody wants to know what's going on with travel ban litigation, right? So this is crazy. We had a victory in a travel ban lawsuit on Friday. Nori versus Rubio. The two defendants are Marco Rubio and Donald Trump. In the Central District for California, the judge is David O. Carter. He found that our claims under non-delegation failed, but found that our other 6 causes of action survived motion to dismiss, challenging the delay is unreasonable, and also challenging the State Department's misinterpretation of 1182F as giving them the authority to issue, to implement a visa issuance ban just because the president issued an entry ban. The president has the authority to issue an entry ban. No one has the authority to issue a visa issuance ban. Only Congress. Congress hasn't done that. So Judge Carter found, similarly to Judge Suknanan in the Fine case, and also similarly to judges back in Gomez, Young, Goodluck, Tate, I think Milligan, I don't know, there was like 7 or 8 cases where judges have found that 212F entry ban is not an issuance ban. So we're going to keep following that lawsuit over and over, and the government's going to keep losing until they change that policy. Just beat them down, right? So we have filed our 7th group lawsuit challenging the travel ban. Let me do a quick math count on that. Yes, our 7th in the Northern District of California earlier this week. So, and that's in the process of being served now. That's for family preference categories. We've got 2 cases that are family preference category groups, that one and one in the Central District of California. So we're going to keep fighting the travel ban. No one else is going to fight it, apparently. No, impact litigation. Charles Cuck is fighting it with 2 group lawsuits. He hasn't filed them yet. He's still onboarding them, but I think that onboarding period is ending soon. One is for K1 students, and one is K1 fiancés, and one is for F1 students or J1 researchers. Okay. Covered a lot of information there. I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed. I don't think so. I got a question over here. Let's see if we can knock that out. What is the point of a mandamus lawsuit against 221G if the optimal strategy for the Department of State is to issue a motion to dismiss? Even if the judge denies it, the motion to dismiss, then 4 to 8 months extra time with little effort. Great question. This is a question that's asked by somebody that's done a little bit of looking into how mandamus lawsuits work. A motion to dismiss is a normal part of the process. 60 days after you file a federal lawsuit against the government, they have to file a responsive pleading. That's either an answer to the complaint or a motion to dismiss. An answer to the complaint is not something they want to get into, so usually it's a motion to dismiss. The third option, which is the most successful mandamus lawsuit, is where they make progress with the processing of the immigration benefit, and they come to the attorney or the plaintiff and they say, hey, it looks like we're going to wrap this up. Will you give us 30 more days? Will you give us 60 more days? And then we say yes, and we give them an extension. That's best case scenario. There are some demographics where that just never happens, really. Iranian visa applicants, for example. But like with USCIS, it happens all the time as a defendant. So the benefit, you say, what's the optimal challenge? I would not be discouraged just because the government filed a motion to dismiss. That's like the least that they could do. That's the deterrent to keep the next person, to keep your friend that's watching your case from filing a lawsuit too. If you hire an attorney that is competent, that files responses in opposition to the motion to dismiss, that means the lawsuit doesn't go away. That means the government has to reassess, hey, did we really want to sign up to do this to the bitter end? Sometimes they do, especially with shorter delays. But if the delay is longer, that could really backfire, right? They could be put in a situation where the judge is asking them questions. One of my earliest cases challenging the travel ban on behalf of Yemenis in the Eastern District of California ended abruptly when a judge issued an order asking the government to just ask like 3 or 4 questions about how the process worked. And over the weekend, the government somehow was able to issue visas to Yemenis who get them in Djibouti and like 7 families. And it's like, oh, no lawsuit anymore. We've given everybody what they want because they didn't want to answer the judge's questions. So the government has liability. They have something to lose as long as the lawsuit is pending, even if they've already filed a motion to dismiss. You know, they really want to avoid that little discovery stage. They want to avoid hearings in front of federal judges. The U.S. State Department does not like the reviewability of federal courts. They do not like that at all. Their poor attorneys are often caught up in the middle and really not bad people for the most part. Government attorneys, I've got to where I feel sorry for them because a lot of times they really want to help, but their clients are just being really difficult. Sometimes their clients are telling them to lie. That's a new thing going on. Okay. So I hope I've answered that question a little bit. Yeah, you said even if the judge denies it. So if the judge denies the motion to dismiss, we go into the discovery phase. They have to produce the administrative record, or sometimes there's other discovery. They don't want that. They don't want summary. If they lose on summary judgment, they have to pay attorney fees. They don't want to do that. They will fight that tooth and nail. Okay. Okay, so that's an update. That's what's going on with the travel ban, what's going on with the H-1B lawsuit, group lawsuit that we're doing. We continue to do a lot of individual mandamus lawsuits, both against USCIS and against the State Department. We're also doing a lot of representations of adjustment of status applicants and also asylum applicants at their USCIS interviews. It is so important that you are represented by an attorney at a USCIS interview now more than ever. You need a witness to what happens in that room. You need somebody to take notes about what happens in that room during that interview. So if you don't hire me, hire somebody. You know, it doesn't have to be the wisest, smartest attorney that you can find, because they're not going to be making arguments in the room. They're going to be taking notes and listening and paying attention. Sometimes somebody that's only been attorney for 2 weeks, they can handle that, right? I mean, just sit in the room in the back row chair, take notes, and pay attention to what's happening. That's what you have an attorney come to your USCIS interview for. And also sometimes intervening if the officers ask a question and your answer doesn't match the question. Like I can't tell you how many interviews where I've been like, excuse me, the applicant did not understand the question that you just asked. And that's an important role of the attorney third party at the interview. Okay. So I think that's all I'm going to rant about today. I just saw some news that in Florida, Governor DeSantis has decided to declare war on H-1Bs because he doesn't want any H-1B professors or something. people don't go to Florida to get educated anyway, so that kind of tracks with like the direction that Florida is going. Um, so anyway, if you're abroad and you are looking for job opportunities, just don't look in Florida. Similarly, if you're anywhere in the world and you're looking for any opportunity that's good, that's going to make your life better, just don't look at Florida. It's humid there. There's alligators that eat children. Just stay away from it. That's all I've got to say today. Join me next week. Oh my gosh, November. I don't know what day. November 3rd for Let's Talk Immigration. I'll see you next Wednesday.